just as I mentioned that it's very likely that the Jewish nation has a secret society behind it, doesn't necessarily mean that this is unique to the Jewish people. It's very likely that there were many different types of secret societies that have many different ideals and many different tactics and strategies to accomplish their goals. You have very famous groups such as the Illuminati, Skull and Bones, and many other societies that have secrets or are secret and try to accomplish various goals. It's plausible to argue that there not only are there secret societies, but they know of each other and they battle each other on influencing the world. And unfortunately, sometimes these conflicts could have devastating effects on the average person.
For example,
take the Nazi regime, for example. The Nazi regime was done by Hitler. He rose to power in an amazing way. It doesn't make sense that Hitler rose to power all on his own by having good tactics and good ways of influencing people and good ways of building political structures. It has to be that people were working with him. People shared his ideals. Now, one of the interesting things that Hitler said specifically, that he argued that the Jews are at fault for bringing morality to the world. He argued that the very fact that Christianity exists is because of the Jewish people in order to inflict our ideals onto the world via Christianity. Now, there's no secret that Christianity does support and does promote many ideals which come from the Bible, which are obviously Jewish ideals. But the way he says it is as if, we invented Christianity in order to get our ideals out there. Now, is that true or not? I have no idea. Is it possible? It could be. It could be that part of the strategy of this group was to create religions that would be more acceptable or more similar to what people are used to following, and therefore they had to create it in various different ways in order to get those ideals across. There's no way of knowing. We do see many people who have tremendous influence throughout history that we have no idea why, what's their motives behind having this influence, and how they reach their powers and how they gain their political following. And it's sometimes it's cult leaders. Sometimes it's completely how should I say not understandable.
An enigma. No. It's incomprehensible.
In many cults, when you actually read the stories on how they began to exist, it's incomprehensible how these people were able to do this. How these people were able to convince people to follow ideals which either are totally insane or just make the cult leader into one big powerful person. It is all likely that some or many of these cult leaders or religion creators were part of these groups and created religions or ideas in order to, as a strategy, to accomplish various goals.
If, just on this one point, if you say that you bring up this theory that suggests maybe that Christianity was formed as a way to influence people, but it was formed from the roots of Judaism or from the secret society were actually responsible for that. If that is the case, then really it was in some way they did to some extent shoot themselves in the foot, because Christianity, as we know, there have been many circumstances when Christianity persecuted Judaism, like for example the Inquisition.
So that's a very, very good point. Now, the thing is when you influence people, if I, for example, train somebody how to run a car dealership, okay, and I expect that person to help me run that car dealership, it is very likely that that person will go and open up his own car dealership and be competition to me. Now, even though when a person creates a religion, when a person creates a system of thinking, which they then pass on to others, it is now it's in the marketplace of the world. It is very likely and very possible that people can kind of like suck the energy out of the true reason and the core reason of its creation, just like anything. To give a simple example is that, let's just say, for argument's sake, that Christianity was created as a means to bring biblical influence to the Christian world. If that's the case, even if they did it, somebody else could then use various different influence tactics to twist Christianity into a way where it could then persecute its very creators. Now, if we're arguing that there are conflicting secret societies that existed through history, it's very likely that when the Jewish secret society created Christianity, it's very possible that other secret societies realized how potent the potential of Christianity was, and therefore grabbed at it like a hyena to try to drag it away from the biblical influence and twist it into their own ways of thinking. And not only is that likely, but many Christians till today argue that their own religion was twisted and turned from its original source into something different. That's why there's many different Christian groups, because they are arguing that, yes, it seems to them that the original Christianity and the Christianity that's being followed today, at least from the major churches, have a serious conflict with the Bible and with some of the teachings of Christianity.